This is Narendra Kumar, and I'm from Anake Academy. And today we are going to do the fifth part of the career development series. And the last lesson, we understood, I hope, the meaning of true learning. Now we'll go into the process, and we'll divide the whole process of true learning into two parts. Now we're going to do the first part in this video, in this short video. So you see now, to know that one doesn't know is also a great thing, actually, because you know that. You're very clear that you don't know something, because in that act, when you say I don't know, your brain centers are receptive. When you are saying truthfully, I do not know, you're actually saying I want to know, I will know, and then the whole earth is yours to see, to know, to discover, to play with, to experiment with as you please. So you are free now. Your mind is free. You have no illusion that you know or don't know, or you're not in the darkness. To even say you don't know is a kind of knowledge. This is the secret of learning. This is what happened and happens to great visionaries, whether they are scientists or inventors or artists or politicians, philosophers, cricketers, mothers, whatever. To be real and true is to see and use your brain, but then really use it as a tool. Use it now. Tool to know and discover. Not use it. You can use the brain in a wrong way also. Not use it to memorize and recall and get marks. That's silly. Yes, you're not a computer, but a human being. And now you will accept it if I say that the greatest fallacy, the greatest myth is that some are intelligent and others dull. No, that is not true. To be born as a human being is to possess the power to look, to see, to know, to feel, to think, to discover. You're not an animal, you're a human being. So you already have that potential. If you didn't have that power, the potential, you would not be at all, you would not exist. It is only this power that explains a Newton, an Aristotle, a Socrates, a Buddha, a Kalpana Chawla. Whatever they saw, they saw with their own eyes, and then they were not the same. Have you observed the psychology of great people? Have you observed their psychology? They are childlike, they are humble, as if they are nothing, as if they are nothing. They do astounding things. They did that. But to them, it was simple. It really was, because it was real and true. And their brains were on and they were not blind. You see, blindness is not just of the eyes. You understand, I think, now. It also pertains to the 99% of the people, especially when young, even it includes me, who did not know or do not know and do not see even one thing. One thing they can't claim to have seen with their own eyes, minds, and hearts. This too is a wonder. The kind of blindness we all live in, even that is a wonder. This explains all the problems of the world, doesn't it? If the whole world is living in darkness, then anybody who says anything and we are all led like sheep, and we will go anywhere, it will be all very unstable. This explains all problems of the world, doesn't it? There is no problem on earth. But this is the problem. And it is not a problem as such. It is plain, impotent, worthless ignorance. You're just being ignorant. You're not looking up. It's like all people have covered their eyes and mind and, bowed heads and just walking here and there. It's a plain nothingness and hence terrible suffering. Think of the suffering when you don't know anything. Not to know, not to have discovered the process and power of true learning is the most pitiable thing. True learning is simple, natural actually, like breathing. At least it should become like that. Now, you might ask me, then what is it that the majority are doing? Don't they know anything? Some people ask like that. People are doing jobs and they're doing PhDs and all that. They know things, so-called know things. But for me, to explain that, I must bring in a new concept called compartmentalized learning. So they learn in a compartment. You can know physics, but not biology, or the reverse, kind of, as it happens in the school. And this is pretty common. People say, I'm good at singing, but not painting. My son is good at maths, but poor in physics. In work, a man says, I know CAD, I know C++, I know how to design buildings, and so on. They are even paid for it. A professor says, my specialty is economics. I know everything about it. And he does. In a manner of speaking, right? If you know physics but not maths, it means you know physics in a somewhat, detached, kind of abstract way, in a disconnected way. You know, for example, mechanics, heat, light, etc. separately. You know the formulae and you have accepted the explanation. I mean, the so called explanation that the teacher has given. You don't know what else to do, but you have accepted it. But you see, such a person has not linked those facts with the whole world to reality. He has learned heat, but he doesn't see the heat in things. Heat is the phenomenon of energy of atoms inside a body. I mean, that is an enormous discovery. The discovery of atoms itself is a very big thing. Everything is made up of atoms. Now you feel it. Like if you feel it, if you're sincere and honest, this fact, somebody comes and says everything is made up of atoms, it will stagger your imagination. I mean, you look at things and say, where are the atoms? You will read and get more facts. Slowly you'll start, you'll get interested. I mean, what is this fact? It seems like fantasy. And even from bad books and bad teachers, you will start reading and getting more facts. You will ask further questions. As you go on the process of reading, you will think and you will connect this with that, and ask and answers will be got. And you will go through the whole process, the steps of the discovery of atoms. To name it, Dalton's postulates, and then discovery of just the pattern, discovery of electrons and protons, and neutrons, Rutherford's experiments, Bohr's model, and the later fantastic facts which came to light. It all came from observations. They were not just fantasizing or creating some models. Slowly, slowly, a picture, a real picture, almost a story, a reality will emerge. The links will start forming. It will take you slowly to the periodic table, to chemistry from there, then to biology. I mean, you'll understand the whole of the complex things really kind of, you are seeing it in front of you. You will start looking at geography in a more direct way, in a more real way, in a first-handed way. It will lead to the applications, and then suddenly you will realize, oh my goodness, there was an industrial revolution that will take you to, your mind will be open to politics, economics, and the whole thing. You see, a series of questions lead to a greater understanding of the world. One question naturally leads to another, and then to another, and another. And ultimately, you are forced to understand the whole world. I mean, the whole world comes to light. This is not there in young people, and it's very, very tragic. This is not a fantasy, and we are not talking about details. We're not saying that every single thing you should know, and that's impossible. You will get a basic understanding in essentials. In basically, you will satisfy your curiosity, the natural curiosity that we must satisfy. You will get a basic understanding of the whole world. There are many. There are many. You won't find them, I mean, literally, but there's so many people who have this kind of holistic. Here I'm using the holistic word specifically to mean the integrated and interconnected understanding of the world. But think, if a person knows only a narrow compartment, he has not asked how that particular information has come. He doesn't know the roots of his knowledge. So his knowledge hangs in the air and only used, it is used, of course, kind of some formulae as procedures in a narrow domain. And this is the kind of training we get in the low level jobs. Everybody does a job, right? But in that job, all that you are doing is you're carrying out procedures. That's not really knowledge, they are procedures. It is a procedure, and you will now understand that such a person cannot go out of the procedure. I mean, he can't understand the deeper questions which gave rise to that procedure. He can do only that and cannot think beyond that. Of course, practically the procedure is important, but it is delimited and confined and cannot claim to be a deep or wide or powerful knowledge. No, it is not. So now you understand most people, when they're doing working or doing jobs or pretending to be teachers, only know procedures and hence cannot be leaders. That is, cannot hold a wide vision and do wonders. It's impossible to them. Remember also that a wide knowledge created by somebody, or discovered by somebody, leads to procedures ultimately. He narrows it down and gives the training. The whole has to be there before a narrow part can be given to somebody. Somebody has to discover true knowledge so that The majority can then on earn a living through acquiring compartmentalized knowledge. So you see the dependence of, the mass of people, the 99% of people, billions of people depend upon just a few thousands maybe of people. Now that is a kind of inequality. I would say inequality of the power. Some people exercise it. For some reason, they escape this kind of a horrific educational system where everybody becomes limited. So now I can answer the question how to learn fully, in a more specific way. That we will see in the next section, in the next video. Thank you so much. This is Narendra Kumar from NRK Academy, signing out.